Today we're going to be testing out the new Tiny Tenkara 3. I already have the original Tiny Ten and the Tiny Ten 2, and I think these rods fish extremely well, especially when teamed up with a modified Western floating line rig. The Tiny Ten 3 locks out at 3 different lengths: 6 foot 7 inches, 8 foot, and 9 foot 3 inches. And on the website, it promises to be the rod of choice if you can't choose between the Tiny Ten original or Tiny Ten 1 and Tiny Ten 2. To see if it lives up to these claims, we're hiking into a glacial fed lake today and plan on fishing with the rod fully extended at 9 foot 3 inches and fishing a 12 foot floating line rig. And then also on the outlet of the lake, there's a small brushy stream, and we're going to collapse it down to the 6 foot 7 inches and try a 7 foot floating line rig. Still kind of playing around with different line lengths, different combinations of line lengths, and seeing what I really like to run on this rod. But anyways, that sounds interesting to you? Stick around and we'll see how this plays out.
I thought it was like the fire retardant.
All right. Good. All right, on our way back down. That lake turned out to be fishless. A little disappointed. I did check the Sierra Nevada Backcountry fishing guide, and it stated on there that that lake had brook trout in it. I guess I'll give away the location just to save someone else time. And that lake is Robinson Lake. Short little hike in from Onion Valley Campground. And yeah, I was hoping to be able to get up there relatively quickly and fish and test out this new Tiny Tenkara 3, but doesn't always work out the way that you want it to. So did jump in the 50-degree water up there though. Spent about 5 minutes setting in that, and that was very refreshing. But yeah, so the plan now, try to salvage this trip as far as the fishing goes. I'm gonna head down and fish the campground a little bit. I'm not sure what will be in the stream, but maybe I'll get a chance to use this new Tiny Tenkara 3 rod. You know, I carried it all the way up here for nothing possibly. So yeah, anyways, stick around and we'll see if we can salvage this trip. Darn it. Should have pulled them up. Very nice. Beautiful little brown. Man, that was really cool. Beautiful little brown. That rod, you having those multiple lengths, I got it, I just dabbed it right over the edge of the brush there, and then I was able to shimmy it out 2 extra lengths, drift it right down, snagged him. That is pretty cool. All right, I'm gonna fish for a couple more minutes. It's been a long day. Made it back down to the truck, but it's been a long day and a long hike, but I can't resist walking right down in here. There's a couple more pools, and I at least have to dab a fly in there. But yeah, way to go, Tiny Tenkara 3. That's pretty neat. That's the first multi-zoom rod that I have ever used, and I think I'm liking it. All right, so what do I think about the Tiny Ten 3? I think I'm keeping it. I don't know if this voids the return policy. But seriously, final thoughts. I think the Tiny Ten 3 is great, and definitely when I was down there, hopefully you saw I was able to pick it up over the top of the brush and then telescope it out another 2 lengths, and that's when I snagged that little brown. Is it a replacement for the Tiny 10, the original Tiny 10? I don't think so. Here's what I would do if you don't have a Tenkara rod at all whatsoever, and you're looking for the very first Tenkara rod to purchase. I would skip the original Tiny 10. I would skip the Tiny 10 2, and I would just go straight to the Tiny 10 3. It's more versatile than all the rods. It's going to fit a wider array of applications, and but that being said, if you have another Tenkara rod, I don't know if it's worth really picking up the Tiny Ten 3 if you haven't picked up the original Tiny 10 yet. The original Tiny 10, just for the really tight, small, brushy creeks. There's nothing else quite like it, and it's great. I love my Tiny 10 original. This will probably replace my Tiny 10 2. I don't think I'll ever fish the Tiny 10 2 again. So, yep, that's my recommendation. I hope you enjoyed this episode, and we'll see you next time.